Hello. Game capture. Good. Alright, time for Loper. Oh, move my head. You're not supposed to be there. There we go. Load. Okay, we're at the forge. No hammer, so that's not good. Nighttime, we're gonna have to stay over here overnight, aren't we? Look down here. Give me that. I will probably go explore a little bit and see if maybe there is a hammer in some of the outlying areas. Check back here. So yeah, let's grab a torch. I have 5. Couple more. Hey, Avatar! I'm gonna throw that on. Well, okay. Yeah, I think I'm safe to put that on. Grab a torchy and we're gonna go. Let me actually drop some weight. Drop my books. And a lot of coal. All the coal. Take 2 coal. I'm just going to explore surrounding areas in hopes that I find a hammer. And actually I know where one of the caches are, so I may go search that. That would actually be good if it's there, because then I can spend the night there and not have to keep the fire going all night. Let's see. Bark. Scare you off. Bark, bark, bark. Yeah, go, go, go. And I feel like the cache would possibly be a hammer spawn as well. So let's see. Bark. Bark. Just stop following me, please. Oh, bark, bark. Goodbye. Thank you. See if he's there. Pretty sure this is where it was. Tucked up here. Ah! Get out of here! That scared me. I didn't think he was gonna be right there. Spawned in right there. Let's see. Excuse me. I know, right? I'm not seeing a cache. Sad. Because that would have been really nice to spend the night in, even if there wasn't anything in it. I'm gonna keep going. Oh, oh! Yep, it's here. I'm glad I kept going then. How are you doing, Miss Dewdrop? Let's see what we shall see in here. So far, yeah, it's empty. It's very empty, but that's okay. It'll be warm. We can spend the night here. I'm gonna go. I am still gonna go and see if I can find a hammer outside. That's good. Sounds like a good day. That's really gonna come in handy for foraging, is having that nearby. Because that way you don't have to, like for right now, if you get here hoping to find a hammer, can't find a hammer, you don't want to keep the fire going all night, you can go and sleep in there. Now, do we know if all the same caches are always going to spawn and just some of them are going to have loot? And it's just going to be less have loot on Interloper? Or are there going to be like different spawns on each run? Or is it like, I don't know, I didn't fully understand how that was going to work. Seeing a hammer, but I did see a sapling that I would like to grab. It's me. Use your knees. Thank you very much. And then I'll just head back to the cache. We're actually quite warm, which is nice. Oh, how was it? I still haven't played the multiplayer mod. It's wild. Nice. Oh, you know what? I left my pot. I just remembered that right before I saved and logged off last night, I left my pot with water cooking. I bet that water boiled off, but that's okay. It's butt. And I did not check under the bridge yet, so let's go do that.
The guy who drank his own pee doesn't seem so crazy right now.
I'll take care of you in a minute, Astrid. I've got bigger things on my mind than you being a little thirsty.
Man, no rest suit, I'm gonna faint.
Really? Oh, you spawn in different spots. That's interesting. Oh, cool. Grab these feathers. I'll check that hut, and I know there's another structure up ahead. I'll check those in the morning. I don't want to walk around in bad visibility with the wolves out. I think I'm gonna have to go back up and around the other way. I don't know. I think that's too steep to get back up. Oh, it's still there. Wow. That was kind of lucky, actually. Alright. Grab. I just mainly want to bring the
This
books.
pack is getting too
Well,
heavy to carry.
maybe not. Let's drop a lot of the coal. I'll keep 5 on me. And then over here, I'll drop that and that. I'd like to keep the cooking books on me. Okay. Alright, come on, Astrid. Big drink so you can move. Yes, they're multitasking. I was just in tunas as well. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, this is gonna go out. Oh no, I don't like that. I don't like my chances of being able to find it again. Oh, rip the torch. Well, we got plenty of coal. We'll just have to waste a match. Actually, we'll fire striker it. Gotta try that. They have superpowers. Oh, hi! Well, that's unfortunate. Failed at a 90%. Yeah, I know.
Come
When,
on, Loper. Come on.
I think at one point Dunn and Koru were doing streams at once, and I tried to, like, be in both, and I was like, this is hard. This is not easy. Yeah, do coal. Go ahead and put some water on, because why not? You up here. I don't think... Ooh, is it a silent blizzard? I don't think this stuff will cure here, will it? Not really enclosed. No. Okay. Sleep for 2. What do we want to eat? That. Oh, jeez. I can't even imagine 3. Still going. I think whenever it stops, I'll take a torch and head to try and
I'm
find.
gonna need to eat soon.
Oh, give me that. Yeah, I've got 2 as well, so that's how I was doing it when I was watching the 2. I have a friend who has 3 monitors, and he's like, once you go to 3, you can't go back. Silent blizzards are so creepy. Oh, really?
I've never been so hungry in my life.
Yeah. I actually use them fairly regularly, using both of them. Because I've always, like, even in college and stuff, I would... Turn that down. I would put 2 things on my screen at once. So that's how I knew. I was like, I would really like having 2 monitors, because then I can actually have 2 full windows instead of split down the middle. Just if I'm researching something or if I'm typing something, I like having them both so that I can have what I'm referencing as well as what I'm typing. Especially in college when I was doing like research papers and stuff. Yeah, these 2 are just about the same size. I think they're very close to being the same size.
I think my stomach is eating itself.
What do we look like? It's still too windy to take a torch. Erg. I wish I could be forging, but how much time's left? Break you down. I mean, I really want to sleep. I just don't want to waste all this coal. Guess we're wasting the coal. Make more water while we're at it. At the same butt. Because I butt no. Butt Astrid said what? Yeah. Yeah, that's why I can never watch TLD while I play TLD unless I'm playing on Pilgrim. It's because I'm like, I don't trust. Oh, that probably would be good enough to go out in, but that's fine. I don't trust that I'm not gonna hear the stream and be like, or hear my game and be like, oh, that's in the stream, and then it's actually in my game, and then I get mauled by a bear or something like that. Like, I don't trust my ability.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Okay, I'm probably gonna go to up top now and sleep the rest of the night. Actually, it's almost daytime, but still. Let's go. It's gonna be too cold to travel, like in the morning. Now I'm done. Alright, going to check the things. Work. Man, they come from a while away, don't they? Goodbye. I'm gonna check that little structure, and then keep going and check, work. Oh my gosh, dude. Get out of here. Get. Oh, hello. Oh, that's a post. I thought it was a metal box. Alright, are you the last one? Can you get out of here? Go. Oh, that's what I was trying to go to until you distracted me. Oh, I've already been here. Of course I have. Poor Tuna. Why is she in pain? Is she gonna sprain? Did I come that way? No. I went the long way around. So I haven't checked this big building over here. Honestly, since there's nothing here for me, I may just keep going until I get to the red train car. I don't need to go back. Why did I leave that? I need to take the... I'm interested to see how long I can keep this run going since I have double frostbite. That'll be a fun little challenge. Polaroid. Better have a hammer on you, dude. What's this? Oh, give me that. I have one single stick. She's goading up a cliff. Oh, got it. That'll do it.
Come on, little fire. Gotta warm up somehow. Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Don't you start. Are you seriously starting? How dare you? It's just so dark. I have so many teas. I'm not gonna be able to put them all out. So I'm going to do a birch and a reishi. Maybe a couple more reishi. I did see her get attacked by the wolf right before I left, and I was like, oh man, that sucks. Not that windy. Oh, now it is. Now it's getting windier. It's just dark. I did get my pot, right? No. Of course I didn't, because I thought I was coming back. I want that pot. I think I'm going to go back to Milton so that I can drop the saplings at Grey Mother's and then go through the tunnel to Trappers. I think that's my plan. Drink that. It's an interesting predicament I'm in. Every time I play Loper, it's something new, which is exciting. Okay, well, I'm gonna put some water on because I need something to pass the time until it's a little bit better visibility and better weather. Right now we are warm. Ooh, very nice.
Damn it. So hungry.
She's hungry, but that's fine. I've been starving her. What are we at, wind-wise? Still just seems like it would be too windy for a torch. And I don't trust it to not get windier, so I'm gonna...
Looks like I made it through another night.
Switch directions. There's enough pots at Grey Mother's. I'm just gonna leave the pot. We're gonna take our chances. What's it like? We're gonna be walking directly into the wind. I don't like our chances. We'll be fine. Okay. Heading for the opposite side of FM. Oh my gosh, we're so slow because of the stupid wind. It'll be fine. We have reishi. We have one single flare. Right? One? Yep, just one. How many torches do we have? Some. Oh. I think there's usually firewood over there, so I'm actually gonna go check out that rock. Drink the warm one. Where's the warm one? One second, my husband just texted me. Oh no. Yes, there's firewood here. Sweet. Not an accelerant, I see. It is. Beautiful. It's fur, too. Not that cold in the windbreak. Heading to the train car. Every time I do this, I take a different path. Oh boy.
I gotta eat soon.
Nah, you're fine. But I will have you drink another tea. Is that a wolfie? It's hard to tell. Wolfie? No, rock. Sprained everything. She is one massive sprain. When I was back in Florida in when was it? It was like I think it was very early December because it was when we were driving my husband to the airport to come back here because I was staying through Christmas. And that's about when he left. But I fell for the first time in years. Like, I don't fall often, but I was walking out of my in-laws' house. We were going to use their car, and their driveway is like...
Never thought I'd be dying from starvation.
It's kind of on a hill, and so I was going to the car. I stepped off the driveway because the car, you know, the side I was getting in, I had to get on the grass to go to the door, and I stepped on a little, like, it was at an angle, and my ankle went whoop, and rather than try and put pressure on my ankle like that, because I know that I don't have good ankles, I have an issue with them collapsing quite a bit. And so I just went down. And my husband said he just watched me fold to the ground. And I was like, I would rather choose to fall than seriously mess up my ankle by trying to stand on it when it was like that. So I was fine after. Like, my ankle was a little bit sore the next day because I did still end up, you know, putting pressure on it, but it was not as bad as probably would have been otherwise. But that's like the first time I've, yeah, on ice. Oh man, the one and only, oh, I thought that was the door. That right there. I thought that was the door, and I was like, why can you see clear through the train car? You can't, because that's not the train car. Alright, now I don't feel bad about, ooh, there's a flare here. Oh yeah, me either. I am not athletic.
Come on, little fire.
Yeah, pretty much. I take June for walks, and that's really the extent of my... Well, more recently, I have been doing a lot more gardening, so that involves a lot of bending and lifting and stuff like that. So I have been getting a little bit... Come on, Astrid. Light the darn fire. Give June treat. Okay.
Come on, little fire.
June will get treat. She said, oh. She's sleepy. So that was a very sleepy grab. One sec. Let me
Perfect.
add fuel. No. Add fuel. There we go. Put you on. Stay here for a bit. And let me give her a few more. There's a nice big one. So sleepy. She's like, I love getting treats in bed. She has learned that when I'm at the counter chopping things, that sometimes they're for her because I like cut up carrots for her to use as treats and stuff. So now when she sees me chopping stuff, she'll come over and sit. And if it's a vegetable that's dog safe, I'll give her a little bit. So today she got a few pieces of bell pepper. And if she had come over while I was chopping the cucumbers, she would have gotten some of those too. Yeah. One day. That'll be nice. Once you can get a doggy. Do you have a specific breed in mind, or you would just rescue, or? My next dog will be a poodle, a standard poodle, because I love them so much. And my mom she was telling me the other day, she's like, I've been thinking about Bella recently, and just like, I miss, having a poodle, because we've had poodles. We got Raven when I was probably 5 or 6, and we've had poodles clear since then until end of 2021 when we had to put Bella down. So like, we've had poodles constantly. Oh, hello, Mr. Burb. I didn't know you had a good enough Wi-Fi. She's just old, yeah, she's just an old lady. But she was saying recently, she's like, man, I've just been missing Bella, and I was like thinking about getting another standard, and it probably wouldn't be now, but like one day. And so I'm in a couple poodle groups on Facebook, so when I saw a like a rehoming post for a rescue saying like, well, we have this 3.5-year-old silver standard poodle, and my mom's always wanted a male silver, so I sent it to her and I was like, look, he needs a home and it's in Florida, and she was like, don't tempt me. And then she currently lives with her husband down in Fort Myers, but they are gonna be moving back up. She was just telling me in December to live with my grandma again, because my grandma is getting, my grandma's doing well. She was having some issues with arthritis that have been getting better, but she'll never be, it's one of those things where she's never gonna be getting better. It's just gonna be, even if it's a slow decline, it'll be a decline from now, because she is in her late 80s. So like, just being realistic, she will need the help eventually. So they're gonna move back up to be with her. And so I was like, you're gonna be back with a yard, you'll have space for a dog, because they're in an apartment right now. Oh yeah. You haven't made up your mind because you're years away. Yeah. Yeah, well, you have time to narrow down what you want. I know, I'm such a bad influence. One time in college, I was texting my mom, and my anxiety has gotten a lot better, but in college it was really bad. I'm actually gonna take a little nap, because it's, had another couple sticks. But my mom's a nurse, so if I had any kind of, question, and if I have any kind of question, I'll, ask her and be like, what do you think about this? Oh, borzois, they look so sweet, just like greyhounds. Of course. Alright, well, glad I picked up some sticks. But anyways, I was texting her, like, I think I was asking, like, how much caffeine is too much caffeine, because I've already had, like, 2 or 3 coffees today, because I was an anxious college student living on caffeine, and she messaged me back and was like, you'll be fine, you know, just drink however much. I think I probably have a picture of a screenshot of it. She was like, you'll be fine, just drink it. And I sent a screenshot to my sisters, and I was like, Mom's peer pressuring me. And then my younger sister texted back, and she's like, oh my gosh, I know, she like made me get McDonald's earlier. And then later when I was talking to my mom, she was like, Sarah had my phone, my younger sister. She was like, Sarah had my phone and was texting you, it wasn't me. So it was Sarah who was peer pressuring me, who I thought was my mom. And then when I tattled on my mom to my sister, Sarah was like, oh yeah, I know, she's doing the same thing to me. But it's just Sarah the whole time. Can I leave? Please? A horse in a dog's body. Greyhound is another breed that I would love to have one day. Cause I've just heard so many great things about them. I know when you get them as like ex-racing dogs, a lot of times they can have issues like settling into homes because they've never lived in a home before. But they just seem like such sweet dogs. Mantis goat and horse goat. Huh, I haven't heard of that before. Can I leave? Please. Please let me leave. Why am I carrying two of you? Drop one. Yeah, they have a crazy prey drive. I don't want to waste all my coal doing this, but you're making me. Sleep. Oh. I don't have 27. Is there another scrub bush? Yeah. Break that down. There shouldn't be any bears. I just don't trust my... Oh. I just don't trust my ability to make it there with low visibility like that.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
Okay, well in that case, do enough for 1 more hour so I can warm up again and sleep. I know. Okay, please let me leave. Oh look, a nice sunny day, wow. All my support sodas. Better not be too or should I just go to Mystery Lake? I'm just gonna go to Mystery Lake. It's right there. Oh my gosh, you jerk. How dare you. Yeah, and then I'll round about my way back to Milton. I need the forge. It's just a matter of finding a hammer. Just a big beast of a boy. You'd be proud of me,
Not sure I can carry much
Mr.
more.
Burb. I went to Lakenheath all by myself and did grocery shopping, and then I came home and I prepped all the veggies so I can cook them. Yeah, for real. We got the energy. I want to get there before... before wet. Just I want to get there quicker. I'm not burning calories because I haven't eaten anything, so. Another birch over there. Oh, we're right on the balance of where it's cold without a windbreak, but warm in a windbreak. Interesting. Oh, great. Yeah. Seems like a real dream location to be in. Any barky boys? I think most of the time you can get there without running into any wolves. And then if you do, you can usually backtrack them. Oh, I went to Lake and Heath. All by myself. And I did the big roundabout. That's mostly what I'm proud of, is that I did the big roundabout. Because I did it the night that I dropped you off. Well, I guess the morning that I dropped you off. That's the way I went home, because I knew that it would be nice and quiet, because nobody's going to be out at 4:30 in the morning. No, Tuna! She's brought herself back before, though. But usually on a later runs. I did grocery shopping and I prepped all the veggies, so now when I want to go cook them, I can just cook them. And I don't have to chop them. Because that's usually, honestly, what keeps me from cooking. If I'm just, like, I don't want to prep the ingredients. It's not the actual, like, act of cooking them, it's the prep that I don't want to do. Oh, bear attack, sad. And she hadn't found a stem yet. But now you're gonna make me go all by myself, I know it. When you get back, you're gonna be like, you're gonna do so good, you can do it all by yourself. Trappers, here we come. Oh, sure. Okay, I need to watch this. Oh no. It says it's not available. Oh, now it is, okay. Oh, it's watching her as she's dying. That's unfortunate. Oh wait, did I just get a raid? I do not. I'm watching your clip. She raided me. Oh, Pam, you killed her? Aw, rip. Yeah, that's an unfortunate one. I like how it was stalking you. Yeah, I heard about the slope. I heard quite a bit about the slope. Oh, got it. You devious little thing. What's back here? We just made it from the Forge in FM, to here, to Trappers. I am on this hunt for a hammer. You learned. That's all you can ask for. This is my double frostbite run, and we're on day 6. And we just made it to Trappers, which is pretty good, honestly. That was a long whetstone. Why was it so long? Long boy whetstone. Where'd it go? Oh, it's in the thing. Alright, let me drop my stuff to cure. Turn this on so I can search. Ew. Oh, I've got a pot, because I left mine at the forge. Yeah. Yeah, still no update on Switch. I own it on Switch too. I don't play it super often, but... Sneaky, sneaky. There's usually like a can or something under here. Or under the shelving. No, not today. Okay. Put you up here. The cans are always... The cans and the spray paint, I always try and move into a very visible location. Because otherwise, every time I walk in to that place, I'll be like, oh, there's something. Oh, nope. Long boy whetstone. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, what's that? She had a really loud one before I took it off, so I thought she was about to start in. That's not as loud as she normally. She gets really loud. I don't know how. I think that probably picked up okay, because last time I was surprised at how well it picked up her snores. Oh, Carl's not here. Book. Yeah, that was more just heavy breathing. She can get loud. Come on. Is that another bedroll? Ooh, we got 2 bedrolls. That's actually like a first for a Loper for me, is to have 2 bedrolls this early on.
I could use this.
Alright, well. That's it. There's not always a ton of loot here. I don't think I left anything unchecked, so we're gonna see if we can maybe harvest? Or... We have so many of these stupid vests, but I can't use it as an outer layer. We do have a Mackinac though, so that's not bad. Can I upgrade anything? For that for now. I'm keeping the hockey. I want to wear those, I just need to repair them, but I don't think I have enough time left in the day to repair them. Can I repair anything else? I'll do it.
Surrounded by snow and nothing to
That actually
drink.
got it nice. Alright, let's harvest. Update on the Wi-Fi. Aw. Yeah. Alright. Now I should be able to sleep. Let's see what do we want to eat? I mean, we could use a little health regen, but I'm not too worried about it really. So I think eat that since it doesn't need it, even though I'm gonna lose some calories. I don't want to carry it. That was 450, right? Yeah. And how many do I need to sleep for 10? I need like just over 200 more. So I'll eat that. Okay. Big sleep. Nope. Big sleep. I'm innocent. um.
Oh, I'm starving.
Well, Astrid, I can't help you because I'm trying to get it to where you can forge. Actually, which of these is better? Um. Where? FM. Forge. Coal, I don't know how much. And then Street
Where
Lake.
can I find something to eat?
Camp HQ. 3 maple, 3 birch, and bedroll. There we go. Yeah. Well, don't let him use the Wi-Fi. If you want to be stingy, you don't get the good Wi-Fi. Okay. Is it gonna be good weather? Are you the one messaging me? No. There's my sisters. They're the culprits. What's the weather like? I need a hammer. I'm hoping Trappers has one. It's still kind of nighttime, but it might be Maglin's weather. Yeah. Look at that. Use a book because they're heavy. I will probably leave books behind too. I'm gonna just use this as a transfer, and then I will bring the fire inside so that I don't get cold
Come
or
on,
have
little
to
fire.
put a ton of fuel in. So is that something that you have to, what? Why and how? Actually, I'm just gonna use this one. Is the Wi-Fi situation something you have to buy and order and wait for it to get there? Or is it something that you can, like, buy there from somebody or something like that?
Come on, little fire. Come on.
Yeah, for real. Hey, fire starting novice. Noise. Get my teas down. The emotional sport sodas. Nope. Well, I mean, can't hurt, but I didn't mean to do that. Can I actually cook any more? Yeah, let's make more recipes. And then I'll be able to get a lot of torches. I mean, actually, I have a decent amount of torches. I have a lot of cooking books. Let's get this over here. I do not need all these bugs to drop. That's the other thing at here is sewing primer and
I'm so
what was the other
hungry.
one? Shooting book. Bow book. I don't know what it's called. Did I say shooting primer or sewing? Okay, sewing. Oh, good. Okay. Oh, hi, Quits. Good to see you. No, I don't. It's just because they're in the radial. I always put them out because that way I don't have to avoid them. I can just keep clicking in like the same general spot. So I call it my emotional support soda. Yeah, some people are just real stingy. Are you all warmed up? I think you are warmed up. Alright, we're heading out for... Are we heading out? I'm kind of heavy, but I don't really think there's anything I want to leave. Maybe this. Leave that behind. I just wanted to bring it to a closer base from where it was. Don't need that. I always keep any scrap metal I find on me until I'm able to forge. Oh jeez. That's just predatory for the area you're at. That sucks. Okay, Tina, thanks for the alert.
Thank goodness. Made it through another night.
Yeah, for real. Work. I can just get past him. Nope. Oh lord, he's coming. Get out here. Woof. Right, you're going the way I'm going, you little jerk. Yeah. Literally captive. Yeah, when we first got here, we set up with Vodafone, and we went to the place on base, which we've learned is not recommended by just about everywhere you talk, like everyone you talk to. But we just needed data. Like we didn't know where we were. You know, we don't have any way of knowing how to get around. So we just needed data. So we went to the Vodafone on base, and I wanted the month by month plan because I didn't want to be in a contract. Yeah, for real. If you're not gonna be like gaming or whatnot. So we went with Vodafone, but once we went to the store, the guy was like, well, we don't have the Sims for the month by month. We only have the Sims for the plans, like the 2-year contract. And we were like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, we need data. And I ended up buying my phone through them because I needed a newer model because mine was starting to really have issues. And the data, not the data, but the service was so bad. We had dead zones all the time. And again, when you're trying to navigate, it's not helpful. When you have dead zones all over the place. But of course, we're the best, you know, we have the best coverage in the UK. Yeah, northern UK. We're not in northern UK. So we go back and try and cancel because there's a 2-week grace period to where you can cancel contracts. So we go back and we're like, hey, we want to cancel. And the guy was the same guy we talked to before. And he's like, but why? You know, trying to do all the salesman tactics to get us to stay. We actually initially went to an off-base Vodafone place. And we were like, hey, like, we want to cancel. Or, like we want to cancel. And they were like, I don't know what this guy did to your plan, but, like, it's really weird. And he's like, we can't cancel, like, you have to go back to the one on base. So we went back to the one on base, and it was the same sales dude. And he was like, but why do you want to cancel? Like, we have the best coverage in the UK, and, oh, you're gonna deploy and go TDY, and you have better, like, coverage when you're overseas, and blah, blah, blah. And we were like, okay, but right here, where we are currently, the service is crap. Hello, Mr. Bear. So, like, it doesn't help us now if the service is crap. We went with giffgaff because I initially had ordered the Sims for giffgaff, and they just hadn't come in yet because the Sims are free. Yes, in the UK. And so we run, bunny, run. Yeah, we're with giffgaff, and we really like it, and the service is way better than Vodafone. But the reason that we wanted giffgaff is because you can change it every month. Like, I love the way that they do it. You just go in, like, we started with a certain amount of data, and then we decided to, like, oh, we don't want this much data, we don't use this much data, so we're gonna downgrade, and you can just do it month by month, and it's really great. In giffgaff, yeah. And it works off of O2, I believe, which is much better than Vodafone was. Because it was just so bad. Like, we had so many dead zones. And currently, we actually live in a dead zone. Like, our house, the only place we actually get service is the 3rd floor. At least for me. My phone seems pickier than my husband's. But, it's still miles better than Vodafone was. Oh, nice. So we're very happy with giffgaff. And it's not that expensive. Like, it's a good deal for what we're getting. But just the shady salesmen get me every time. It's the same with buying cars where they're like, oh, but you need this, this, and this. And we're like, no, you don't. I had a salesman, well, we had a salesman try and convince us that buying a brand new car was going to save us money for me when I was commuting to work versus the car that I owned outright. They were like, well, you're going to save so much money because of, they were trying to convince us on the gas mileage, but it was a Honda Civic. It got like 30 miles to the gallon, so like, I don't know how you're calculating that a $300 to $400 car payment is going to save us money on gas for the same gas mileage. That makes absolutely no sense. There's still no hammer. Go ahead and start a fire. Yeah, I'm trying to think when we went back, we still had our Verizon. Exactly. Like, you're gonna pay off this car before you start to save money. And like a Honda Civic, that thing is kept going for a while after that. We only traded up because literally just wanted a newer model, so we went with the Honda Fit, which I loved that car. But what was I saying? When we went back, we still have our Verizon plan. Oh, I thought they were talking about the Civic. Selling the GTI and purchasing a newer one. I really thought they were trying to convince us on the Civic. But it was like 3 years ago, so I can't remember. It was a good buy. I had to convince him to get it because he was looking for other GTIs in the area. And I was like, we don't need a GTI or 2 GTIs. And this was early COVID. So, like, borders, like state borders were picky. And the only one that he could find in the area was in North Carolina. We were living in South Carolina, so we would have had to go up to North Carolina. And I was like, I don't want to buy a car that's older and worse miles than what we want. And so then I found the Honda Fit and sent it to him. And he was doing all this research to try and prove, I know you were trying to prove me wrong. And then you were like, yeah, it's a good car. So then we went and got it, and we got a really good deal on that one. And I think it's because it was April 2020 and the sales, you know, people were just desperate to sell. So they gave us a good amount on the Civic as a trade-in. Yeah, I don't know actually, because I didn't know that the chimney gave out smoke from the thing. I definitely want to stick with the hatchback body style. But I also feel like, I guess it would depend on if you wanted a truck or not, because I know you were talking about that. But I just feel like us having a bigger car finally would be nice. But either way, I wouldn't want it to be like I would want it to be the style of car where you can fold down the seats and have it all open in the back. So either a smaller hatchback or a larger, like, crossover or whatever they're called. Yeah. Yeah, I figured. Run, bunny, run. Should have brought those rocks with me, but I dropped them. Is Mr. Bear coming? I don't see him. Didn't there used to be a backpack up here? Oh well. Hey, bunny. No, don't shush, Busbot. Okay, Pam, thanks for being here. The Jeep. I think my sister's, Sarah's always wanted a Jeep. I love the Toyotas and Hondas. They've always just been good to me. My sister had a Corolla. Ben had a Corolla that ran for years. My mom and grandma have always had Camrys. And then I had a Fit. My sister had a Fit. And the Corolla. Or, I mean, the Civic. Yeah, come back here. Oh, your car turned classic, nice. I had, at my first job, there was a guy that would come in who had, like, an old, it was an old red truck. I don't remember what kind it was, though, and he was telling me how it was, like, almost to classic status, and this was in 2015, but he was, like, so proud of it. Oh, nice. Yeah, when was it? I think Mr. Burb had the 97 Corolla through 2008, first part of 2018, and it was still going. It had issues, but then his sister got it from him and used it for years, and then sold it to somebody else, or gave it to, I don't even know if she sold it, somebody else, and it's still running. Like, it's still going. I know, we called it Chewbacca because whenever you turned the wheel, it would go like... Oh, I guess that's all I got. Okay. Start with... just 2.5. Oh, nice. Yeah. We got 20 minutes. Can I do anything in that amount of time? So far, not long enough. What else can I put in here? I think I have a ton of sticks, yeah. I don't really want to waste that time, so. Cooking too. Eat that. I love when people do stuff like that for science. It's so fun. 30. Okay, so these just have the hides left. Eat that. Yeah, science. I may let this fire go. Yeah, because I don't think I'll be going anywhere for a while, and I don't want to keep it going. Back here? No. I don't want to keep it just perpetually going, so we'll wait for... Ooh, okay, that should be fine. Just go on the hide. Yes, entertainment's the bigger reason. Let's see. It looks out here.
I got little birdie legs,
I don't know how to say your
I got
username, but thanks for the
little
follow.
birdie legs. What are you doing?
Is it Quetz? Probably gonna stay here and do some repairs.
Oh, I'm starving.
Well, Astrid, I think you gotta get used to it. Because it's gonna be a while before we can hunt if we're not gonna find a hammer. I wanna repair those boots, yeah. Do those.
Can you eat trees?
Yay, you did it, good job. Woot woot. Look at her bundled up like that. Oh, we're low on Tinder. Oh, okay. I had less than I thought. Is there any paper here? Well, Can we make any? We're not holding any. Okay, great. I'm glad I noticed that though, because the most frustrating thing is when... Oh, I haven't opened the safe yet. Let's open that first. The most frustrating thing, 21-ish, is when you go to start a fire, you don't have tinder, you have to craft tinder. Miss June, back up in her chair. $23? Yeah, for real. That was my big sign. Cash. Okay, well, better than nothing. That was my big thing for finding this house, was I need a dishwasher. It was dishwasher, good energy rating. I think it's a B, this house. Fenced backyard for June. Pet friendly, obviously. And then within the budget. I think those were like really the main requirements. Like able to fit the king size bed was also a big one. Because some of the ones we toured, we didn't want to have to, you know, replace our furniture and stuff. We just wanted to be able to move it in. So I know it's asking for a lot in the UK to have space for a king size bed, but we got lucky with this one. Oh, look at that, nice and sunny. If we can start it with the Maglins, yeah. Water and bland veggies.
Come on, little fire.
He's been having a lot of Subway. Which I don't blame him.
Perfect.
Okay. Roll out. I think I'm not gonna go that way. I'm gonna head to... Should I just start going to coastal? That's like the fallback. If you can't find any like hammer or anything in this area, like that's the fallback. At least some salt and pepper. Yeah, we saw some that were quite tiny. They're working. I thought I heard. Yep, there he is. Can I get you to get a deer for me? That would be great. But we saw one house that the
If I don't get some food soon.
you know, the third bedroom was really about the size of a closet. Like you could maybe fit a twin size bed in there and then nothing else, like maybe one table. And just for what we were looking for, it wasn't a good fit. How close are you? Not that close. I'm trying to find a deer. Yeah, we're ahead of the curve on warmth, though. That's pretty nice. No, it's a stick. Don't go for the bunny, please. Go for the deer. There's a deer to go for. Did you lose interest? No. Okay. Oh, there's the big beasticle boy. For me still. Nope. Ah! Just checking every available avenue for hammer. I usually would try and avoid this bear, but I think I'm just gonna try and run behind him. The hot sauce. I wonder if I can make it to the dam, because that's a possibility for a hammer. It's actually a strong possibility, I think, for a hammer. Yeah. Glance around. No. Okay. I was hoping. Give me 2 books. I like to keep like 2 of them on me. Cute bird video with Discord channel. You could put it, I mean, you could put it in the bird one. Bird watching is fine, or you could put it in the general. Either of those should be fine. I'm not too strict about what goes where. I get feathers from you. But, okay, thanks. I will watch it. If I get a break, I may watch it on stream, but I would really like to keep pushing forward. Buttspot, yes. I think Buttspot is a great addition to the channel. Yeah, speaking of the Discord, there's the link if anyone feels like joining. I post a lot of random things. Usually having to do with food, birds, my dog, and my garden. I had so much fun with Skateboard last night. I got slightly frustrated at a point because of that one mission. But once I turned off the balancing thing because I just couldn't get it down, that made it a lot more enjoyable. I will definitely do that again. It's worth it, okay. Yeah, you always tend to like breakfasts out of the defact meals. Yeah, skateboard is fun. I want to start uploading them to YouTube because especially like the big game hunter and the skateboard VODs I want to keep. I just need to figure out how to do that in an efficient manner. Boo. It's very cute. I named him Jerry because, obviously, because they had a pigeon option. Yeah. I tend to eat breakfast foods not at breakfast. I very often will make breakfast for dinner or lunch. I lived on instant pancakes in college because I didn't know how to cook much yet. And that was one of the few things I did know how to cook. I am very much a self-taught cook. I have gone by YouTube and Pinterest. This is where I've learned all my stuff when it comes to cooking. Because we didn't really like... I baked a ton. Like, I'm also a self-taught baker, but I baked a ton growing up at home. But I didn't really cook in my teen years very much until I got into college. And then I had a... my freshman year, there was a shared kitchen in, like, the common room. I never used it. I think we used it once to make cookies. Oh, yeah, for real. That's how you get through college. But I just never, like, we didn't have anything in our dorm rooms. Oh my gosh, why are there 3 wolves right there? So I never cooked much until my sophomore year. I'm looking at the sky. When I did have a dorm room that was more apartment style, so it had a kitchen. And then junior and senior year, I lived in an actual apartment with roommates. And then after I graduated, we got married and I had my own kitchen for the first time, which was nice. Well, no, because sophomore year, I had a roommate, but she was only there Monday through Thursday. Monday through Thursday nights? Really? A lot of times it was only like Monday through Wednesday. Because she lived in Jacksonville. She just had a dorm because of her scholarship covered it. Which was really convenient because she could just be there during the week. And then on the weekends, she would get to go home and be with her family. So that was really nice. Which also meant that I had it all to myself during the weekend. And most of the time during the week, when she was there, she would just... Oh my gosh, dude, get out of here. We got along, but she wasn't there very often. She would either be out with friends or have late classes, or I had late classes. And yeah, Mr. Verb had at least one time where he just boiled it away and then came back later and was like, oh shoot, this is an empty pot. Oh no! You only have to simmer that, you don't even have to like really cook it. Alright, where is he? Where'd he go? Go get that deer for me, dude. If you get this deer, I will love you forever.
I'm tired.
Should we spend the night here, Astrid? I kind of want to keep going to the dam. I'm just gonna loot these real quick. I can do that. Looks like lava? Oh my gosh. At that point, you just throw away the pot.
Come on, little fire.
My grandma was notorious for turning on the wrong burner. And also for leaving things on the stove that are not food items. or that are not cooking implements. So she would, and then walking away and, you know, going and doing other things while stuff is heating up. So one time when I was staying there with her, she had turned on the burner to start boiling water, I think. And she had turned on the wrong burner, and she also had a plastic pitcher sitting on the stovetop. And so it was, it melted the plastic because she turned on the wrong burner. And I walk into the kitchen to a big cloud of smoke, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Grandma, you turned on the wrong burner. And she's like, what? Grandma, you're trying to kill us. And then when we were at my other grandma's house for Christmas one year, it was Christmas morning, so we were making breakfast, and we always make cinnamon rolls on Christmas. So my dad had gone and turned on the oven and to preheat it, and then after a while we were like, what smells? And we opened the oven, and she had been using it for storage, and there was something like a plastic colander or something in there that was melting, and we were like, oh my gosh. Okay. Didn't know that was in there. Because, like, we never stored stuff in the oven at home. I know some people do that, but I would just always forget if it was in there. Mr. Burb has sometimes put pizza boxes in the oven. And I'm like, don't do that because I will turn it on and not know it's there. Oh, really? Yeah, no. We typically don't store stuff in there. I understand why people do, especially if there's not a lot of storage space in your kitchen. But I would rather have stuff out on my counters than, yeah, guilty, than in the oven where I am potentially gonna burn it. Yeah, that's a little different when it's actual stuff that's heat proof. I know some things still have like plastic handles and stuff, but putting like plastic, like containers and stuff is not a good idea. Give June a treat. Okay, give me 1 second. Oh, pause. She is groggily. Oh, she's awake. Thank you. For when she finally wakes up. She just wakes up. Oh, Mr. Burb redeemed it too. Okay, she's getting lots of treats. Oh my gosh, so many Give June treats. Are you redeeming it every time, or are you redeeming it in advance? Oh my gosh, she's gonna get fat again. She's like, keep redeeming treats, Dad. I don't even know how many I've given her at this point. It's just her kibble. Oh my gosh, stop. She keeps checking in the morning. I don't think I've sent you any of the videos because I didn't want you to be sad. But she keeps checking for you in your chair in the morning because when I come down, you're usually in your chair. So she keeps coming in the office and looking for you. So I've got like 3 or 4 videos of her doing that already. Have a redeem for giving tuna tacos. I think that would get you. She's like, oh wow, thanks for all the kibble, Mom. Are you gonna be too windy? Did you ever get your tacos, Tuna? I don't remember if there was ever a resolution to your taco saga. Last I thought was that he did eventually cave. I don't really want to go when I'm this heavy and tired, so we'll just stay here for the night. As much as I want to get to the dam, we'll just go in the morning. Can I repair anything? Or tear anything down? We'll tear this down. Tacos or bust. Sorry, honey, it's been a nice 15 years. You're out. We can make healthy tacos. Tacos can be everything. There's lots of veggies. Oh, you know what? I don't think I have water. That's okay. Just drink some sodas. Drink another one. Fish tacos. I should have drank those last. It's okay. We'll eat sardines. I think that's good for now. Yeah. And see if it's Maglan's weather.
I'm starving.
Possibly? Yes. Not the birch. Who's that? I need to make more tinder. Weren't you saying that he's just addicted to air frying chicken wings? Was that you?
I need something to drink and soon.
I know you said he's addicted to making fried rice.
Perfect.
Yeah, go in here so that if the wind starts up, it doesn't blow you away. Got these. I guess I could have used the mag lens in here, but oh. Yeah, okay, actually.
I need something to eat.
Some water. Yeah, that's fine. And ramen. Mr. Burb ordered a whole, I don't know, how many were in that? 40? Seems like more than 40 pack of the type of Shin ramen that he likes. We have that in the storage closet downstairs. Okay, 9, 12, 47. Okay, go inside. Yeah, I know, right? Good thing. Stop taking damage. What can I do? Break down some of these. That's not gonna take very long. Oh yeah, that's justified. You forgot? It's still under there. You eat it often enough, I'm surprised you forgot. Well, it's waiting for you when you get home. Gonna eat all the ramen. Okay, how's that looking? And let's go. Whoa, take a drink. Oh, okay, okay. Well, I don't eat the same type as he does. I eat just the normal, like, what brand is the, like, the popular chicken ramen? I don't even remember. It's not Top Ramen. Whatever the the standard orange pack is. That's mostly what I eat. He eats the spicier stuff. And I don't have a huge heat tolerance. I've gotten more into spicier things, but I still don't have much of. I think it's Maruchan, right? Yeah. Because I like the flavor of the Shin ramen. It's just, it's too much heat for me. Because I am a baby when it comes to heat. Drink Rishi already? No. Don't do it. Don't do this to me. Take that wind away from here. Give me a break. Yeah, exactly, Oliver, exactly. Yay, tacos! You want to eat better tacos? Oh, you want to go out for tacos? I mean, that's valid. But that's where the flavor is. I know Tuna, you sent that recipe of the actual ramen broth. I need to make it. I just keep forgetting to get the ingredients for it. And now I can't make it because Mr. Bird's not home, and obviously I gotta make it when he's home. I could probably make the broth and freeze it though. Lucy is here. I can't do anything about it, but he's here. I'm just gonna go in the gate. Then I'm safe from the wolf. The wolfies. Oh man, street tacos. There's food trucks on base here. And there's one that has like tacos and burritos and stuff. They're very good. Alright. Okay. Have a good food. Let me know before you go to bed. Batman. Paper. This was a Maglin's fire, so I think I'm just gonna let it die so I don't waste the fuel. And I'll use the lantern. If it was a match, I would try and keep it going a little bit more. I feel like I haven't gotten to play a bunch of TLD recently. I missed it. I've been doing other things, and then I missed a couple streams. I haven't been really playing it offline very much either. I've been doing a lot during the day, a lot more than normal. Oh, another lantern. Give me that. Hey. I got allergy medicine, and they've been doing better. But I've still been sneezing quite a bit. Oh, good water. I forgot. Toilet water. So helpful. .32. What is that? That's nothing. Yeah, it was. He was saying goodnight to Mr. Burb. I always find that so funny when like one person says something that sounds like they're saying goodnight. Like I've done this before in Koru's stream. I think was one time where you say something because something happened to one of the characters. So I'll say like a sim passes out and I say goodnight because they passed out. But then somebody thinks that you're saying goodbye because it's all text. And they're like, oh, good night, Burb. And I'm like, no, I'm staying. I was just saying it like the character. I was just saying it to be funny. And you feel like you have to like frantically explain, like, no, I'm not leaving. But now it's awkward because then the person saying goodnight is gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry. Little weird things about being a human. Can I have something, please? I mean, best case scenario would be a hammer, but anything at all, honestly, would be kind of nice. Buttload of chocolate. Ooh. I go through phases. Like, I normally don't eat a bunch of, like, candy. I love good dark chocolate, but I don't eat a ton of it on a regular basis. But I go through phases, man, where sometimes, like, I can down a whole thing of candy. I have to stop myself. It's like as soon as you eat the first bite after a while of not having either candy or chocolate or something, and it's just like, I go crazy. And then not in a bad way, like, I'm not really a binge eater. But I'll go through periods where I have zero candy for weeks or months, and then I either get a bag from somewhere or, you end up with some and you're just like, it's so good. Yes, it was Mr. Bird leaving. He went to go get dinner. Sewing kit, woo! Yeah, sometimes it just sounds good. I also get lemonade, or just lemon things in general. I love lemon things. But like American lemonade, I'll get cravings for that. And because I grew up with Country Time lemonade, which is a powder mix. But I really like homemade, like the actual homemade lemonade. If there's a hammer around here anyway. Time to die! Say your goodbyes. Yeah, no, yeah, I'll have like when I was a kid even, and you know, Halloween, you'd go out and trick or treat. I don't know if that's as big a thing in UK or not. Um, but I would have Halloween candy forever because I would, like, even as a kid, I would just go a while without eating it. And my parents usually let us keep it once we were older. Like, you know, so I know some parents will, like, take it away and ration it, but our parents, once we got to a certain age, they would let us keep it because none of us really had issues with overeating, to, like, an unhealthy degree. So I would have the bucket in my room for months, and then my dad would start taking candy tacks and sneaking in and grabbing some. We always had the big Halloween trade. Is we would, you know, everyone goes trick-or-treating, you get home, and there was 3 of us. And we would sit down, dump all our candy, sort it, and then we would barter with each other. And we'd be like, I'll give you 1 of these for 2 of these. Because, you know, everyone has their favorites. So you'd give, like, oh, I loved Smarties. So I would, like, trade something that I knew my sister would like for, like, all her Smarties. Because she didn't like them as much. So that was, like, the best part of Halloween was getting home and then going through and trading all your stuff with each other. Oh, you're right, I forgot. I usually will save it until after I've looted the room, and then I'll go back and do it, but I did forget this time. Thank you for catching that for me. Let's see. Well, let me turn off the lantern first, because I don't know how this will take me. My sisters and I are pretty similar in age. We're only, like, my older sister and my younger sister are only 4 years apart. So, we're all pretty similar in age. So, once we got to, like, oh, that was fast. Once we got to, like, you know, Sarah being, like, 8 or 9 or so, or even probably earlier than that, like, we were all pretty much on the same page when it came to stuff like that, which was nice to be at the same, like, approximate developmental age. Cash, and that was it. Okay, great. So helpful. I'm gonna go take a quick break. I just need to use the bathroom and then I'll be back. So here's the music and the June cam, and I will be right back. chair. We got an escapee. You're number 7. 1. Okay. Good night, TX. Anybody else? Yeah, June's like, alright, my job is done. I'm out of here. Alright, back to the game. You're 6. I always forget which ones are which. 6? Yeah. Fair enough. I think I've been holding steady at it. I don't know. 2 in my mind is kind of like a... Not like a scream. It's kind of like a... Ah. You're a 9. I don't know. I've been like a 5 with just moments of 4 every now and then. And then back to like, it's going fine. And then... What the heck? And then back to 5. Solid 8. Good morning, Koru. Perfect timing. Sometimes you just get moments, especially dealing with military stuff, where you're like, oh my gosh. Oh, damn it. Hey, Koru. It's going. I am on day 8 of my Loper run. This is the double frostbite. Looking for a hammer. So far, no luck. Oh, nothing up there. Yeah, June just said, peace out. My job here is done. Alright. See you later, tuna. So far, no hammers. I don't think of where else could be a hammer spawn, because we've checked trappers, we've checked, we've checked Broken Railroad both in the lodge and in the forge. We've checked Forlorn Muskeg, checked Milton. We checked most areas by the forge and Forlorn Muskeg. I was really hoping that there would be a... Oh, you got your first tuna? Oh, that was your first tuna stream? Okay, Cora, are you working from home today? I don't remember what day of the week it is and what days of the week you work from home. Nice. Yes, Tuna. I enjoy Tuna streams. For a while, she was doing streams like pretty consistently before my streams, so I was able to watch hers right before I went live. Oh, that sucks. Check. Where? I think I did. I think I am just gonna... I don't want to jump because I'll probably hurt myself. Oh. I think I started watching Done last, like, June? I want to say, because me and Mr. Burb went to Seoul around June, because that's when he took his mid-tour, when we were in Korea. But I didn't watch super... Oh, I thought this was... Oh, it is, okay. I didn't start watching Done super consistently until a few weeks later, because I think... Burb talks about a book. Alright. Give me a second, and I will get on my Goodreads. But I didn't start watching streams super consistently for a little bit, but then I started watching him, and then that was about the time that Koru had started streaming. And then Tuna and I started streaming after that, but Tuna, and I think both kind of, like, were off and on for a while because I was moving and I think she was just really busy. Yeah, sometime in June. I think you were already consistently watching by the time I started consistently watching, though. Alright, let me pause and go to my Goodreads. Don't judge my Goodreads. No. Actually, I don't really want to mess with that. Can I do window capture? Because that was what I needed to be able to do my, yeah, here we go. That's what I needed to be able to do my, what's it called? Big Game Hunter. So I don't really want to mess with that. Okay, here we go. Do you want a recommendation, or do you just want me to talk about any book? No viewers till May. I was lucky enough to have you as one of my first viewers, but a couple other people because of the challenge. Book I really liked. Okay, so we'll go to my favorites. I have way too many shelves on Goodreads because when I worked at the library, I had a lot of downtime and I spent a lot of it on Goodreads. So, let's see. Probably the Scorpio races, Maggie Stiefvater, Horse Girl Energy, because there's a lot of books that meet that criteria. We got Horse Girl Energy, Eldorado Energy, which I don't know why there were a couple books. These two just gave me Eldorado Energy. They were kind of questy. There was some magical realism. This one had to do with the Aztecs. So it just gave me Eldorado Energy. It's just pick one of Firm's good read categories. Okay, here's my system. Here is the system we got going on. So when I put a book on my shelf, let's go to a more recent want to read. Alright. No. Some of these, so I enter a lot of giveaways too, and so that skews my want to read shelf. Let's go down here. To a book I actually want to read. This is harder than that. Okay. So we'll just pick this one. So when I put one on my shelf, done books? Oh, yeah. It took me a second to remember what that meant. Because I thought you meant a shelf of done books. Like books for done to read. And I was like, but then I remembered he was an author and I own his books. I haven't read Holds, no. I've seen the movie, but I haven't read it. That's why it's on my list, is because I saw, yeah, you just saw the covers. I saw, a bunch of books that, like, I'd always heard about, but I'd never read, so I added them recently. So, when I add a book to Goodreads, I add it to want to read or to already read or whatever. I have a bunch of G shelves, which are the genre. I have them sorted fantasy, fiction, nonfiction, graphic, but then within the bigger ones, like fantasy and fiction, which I know fantasy is a type of fiction, but it's its own thing also. It's too big of a category to just fit in fiction. I have adult, juvenile, and YA. So I can kind of pick what approximate thing I'm going for. If I want a fantasy book, if I just want a contemporary fiction or whatever book, if I want it to be adult, or if I want it to be, like, juvenile, where it's a little bit less intense as adult books can be. So I have those. I also just have, like, graphic novel, nonfiction, poetry, sci-fi, because those are the smaller ones that I don't need to split into adult, YA, and juvenile. Then I have where I can find those books, because I also have a giveaway shelved so that when I add books on the giveaway, I can very easily go back and find the ones that I added just for giveaway, like that I don't actually want to read. I just wanted to enter the giveaway, and you have to put it on your want to read shelf. So I have that one so I can go back and tag them. I don't, but I should. That's a great idea. So, for where to find them, Kindle Unlimited, library audio, library ebook, or library physical, or library not in the library. Um, that one is so that I know, okay, I would have to go outside of a library to be able to find it. If I have a book that I own, I don't have it on any of these. I don't know why, I just don't really put it on there because I already own it. So I would like to consume it in the media that I already own rather than having a book like physically on my shelf, but then going and getting the ebook and reading it from the ebook. I'd rather read the physical book that I have so that I'm using it. I have a couple rec shelves. I have seasonal because I was like, sometimes you just want a seasonal vibe book. Standalones because I really like to know if I'm going to get into, like, if I just want a one shot, if I just want a standalone book, I can go to there. If I don't want to get invested in a trilogy, this is like a spreadsheet to me. Like, it's different categories. um, so, and then also, I have a general, I want to read this book somewhat soon, so I have a basic, this is what I want to read in 2023. I have TBR bookshelf, so these are books that I own and also have not read yet. I have TBR Kindle for books that I own on Kindle and have not read yet. I have TBR Next, which is a narrower of the TBR 2023. This is what I want to read in the next couple months, or like I think I'm gonna be ready for this in the this mood. I have to buy, so books that I want to actually buy physically. So that if I go to a bookstore, I can very easily say, okay, these are books that I've been wanting for a while. Let's see if I can find one of these. I have an unhaul shelf because I have a few that I own but I want to get rid of. And I'll either find a way to donate them or possibly sell them because I have a few that are nicer cover. So the ACOTAR series is a big series. They changed the covers recently, and so I have a couple of the older covers, and I already owned the books all in hardback. So these are 2 paperbacks that have the old covers, so I thought somebody might want to buy them. And I would hate to just donate it if those are, something that are kind of in demand, whereas I would like to be able to give somebody else the opportunity to own that cover if they want it. And then I have the random tags that were just kind of like, I don't know, they just it gives me Eldorado energy. So I have a couple random ones. Bucket list is books that I really just want to read eventually, but I definitely want to read these books. Oh, you actually wrote a book? Like, you've, I know you've been I know you write. I didn't know you actually wrote a book. That's cool. What book? um, and then I have a favorite shelf, which is where I went to. Oh, well, let me look it up. I didn't know you actually, is it self-published? Is it this one? Is it any of these? Or is it all of these? Cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome. I'll follow you. Okay, but back to the book that I actually was going to talk about, the Scorpio races. And actually, I'm going to go, and since my headset is wireless, you're going to hear me talking as I go, and hopefully it doesn't cut off as I go around the corner here. But I own, where are you? Somewhere on my bookshelf. I know where it is. It's in here somewhere. But I own a very pretty cover of it because it wasn't Loot Crate. It was one of those like subscription or like special edition boxes. Where are you? It's here somewhere. I'm just missing it. Oh yeah, duh. It's blending in with my other books. Okay. So, Scorpio Races is Murder Ponies. Okay, Koru. But this is for the teams, yeah. Okay, so this is the Scorpio Races. You can see on the screen it's red. This is a special edition that came out. It also, so on the back there's a little bit more detail with like the horses running. It's Murder Ponies, and it's great. this is the art on the inside cover. Can you see it? It's kind of hard to, there we go, that works. So it's horses in watercolor. Basically, it's an island. I think it's supposed to be, it's not a real island. The island's called the Thisbe. I don't think it's a real island. It's supposed to be off of the UK, I think. But it's, what are they called? Kapalishka is what the name of the horses are, but they're water horses. So they come out of the water in November, or I think actually October or September. No, it's September. In the fall, they start coming out of the water onto this island, and people catch them and then train them and then race them, and it's the Scorpio races. So it's an annual event that's held on this island, and people catch these horses. But the trick is they're predators, so they're murder ponies. They're very mean. They have big teeth, and they will kill you. So it's kind of like the bull running, I guess, of Spain, where it's like this event that's super dangerous, but people do it. So the two main characters, Sean Kendrick is I think they're both late teens, the main characters. Sean Kendrick is a rider, but he doesn't own the horse that he loves. Who the horse Core is. There are stables that actually will keep the water horses year round and breed them, and train them, and then a bunch of other people just catch them as they come out of the water every year. So some will be more fresh than others, but so Sean wants to win the race because the race, it's a huge prize when you win. Sean wants to win it so that he can buy his horse Core, who's owned by a stable, and he's the rider. And then Puck wants to win it because she's gonna lose her family's house, and their parents died. Her and her brother. She has two brothers. One's older, one's younger. Their parents died, and they're gonna lose the house because they didn't know it was in debt. So she wants to win because of that reasoning. And so it's just about them. It's about them working with the horses, or dealing with the different. It really does go into the magical, like the fantasy elements of it, which I really enjoy in a book. The characters meet and have to kind of work together. It's really great. I love it so much. I've read it twice already, and I only first read it. Oh, thank you for the link, Avatar. That's great. I read it in, I think, 2019 the first time, and then I read it again the year later because I just love it. I need to read it again. I got this last year, the special edition of it. I didn't own it before. Is there more detail on the inside? No, it's just a basic, basic. It's not the pretty, super pretty foiling or whatever. Is there any pictures? No. That's okay. But yes, great book. Highly recommend. Maggie Stiefvater wrote a lot of the the teen, like the YA of, or 2010 kind of era. So if you read some of those, she wrote the Shiver series, which was a really popular, I think, werewolf series that I didn't read. So this was my first introduction to Maggie Stiefvater, but I really love that book so much. It's a standalone. There's not a sequel. I wish there was. So yeah, that is one of my favorite books. And now we will go back to the game. No capture? Yeah, okay. Why does that look weird? Oh, I don't like that. What are you Oh, it's because I have display capture on. There we go, okay. Alright, back to searching. Still looking for a hammer. But yeah, now you know a little bit more of what goes on in my mind when it comes to my Goodreads account. But honestly, once I set up those systems, it doesn't take that long to maintain them because whenever I add a book, I just tag it with all those different tags that I have. And it makes it a lot easier for me to be able to find something if I'm looking for, you know, something specific, or if I want a certain kind of vibe that I'm going for. I wish I had more lamp oil, but I don't think I do. But I do have another lantern. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I hate when it gets low and it starts flickering like that so much. Also, I still haven't found the Spelunker's lantern on my Voyager run. I hope I find it. I want to find all the variants. Oh, food. I really don't want to get out of the starvation tactic though, unless I'm like actually need to keep the health. I think I'm gonna keep going until I have a little bit more reliable of a way to find food. Cause like we probably have enough to where she could get by without starving during the day, but I'd rather just keep going with it. Oh, yep, there it goes. This one. So I'm trying to think where else there might be a hammer spawn. I could work my way to DP, but again, there's no guarantee that there's going to be one there. But I have a bedroll, so that makes that whole trek a lot easier. If you have a bedroll, because you can sleep in the mine. A short book you love is Animalia? Oh. There's another book kind of like that but different that I've heard of called Ella Minnow P. So it's Ella Minnow P-E-A. And it's a book that progressively the author takes away letters. And I haven't read it. It's only like 200 or so pages. It's on my list. But I've heard it's very good. Probably Forlorn Muskeg. Unless I start near DP and am able to find a hammer near DP, because then I can just forge and get out. I guess it depends on your situation as far as fuel goes. Broken medical. Oh, interesting. Because like if you can't stay warm at Spence's, then it's kind of difficult to use that one. Like, you know, once you finish forging and then you have to sleep, if you don't have enough fuel to sleep long enough to be able to get out, then it's kind of hard. Now adding the bunker nearby, I think changes that a little bit, because if you have the bunker, then you can sleep in there in the warmth. But if you so like that's where the maintenance yard is good, because it's warm there. If you have the, you know, even just a little bit of clothing, you're warm in there because it's an interior location. Oh really? You don't like the Forlorn Muskeg one? That just seems to be the one that I end up being able to use the most, is the Forlorn Muskeg one. Because it's a closer location to like Mystery Lake and the more central zones. Whereas DP and Broken Railroad, you only end up going there, like it's at the end of the road. It's not really in the middle. So I tend to have used the Forlorn Muskeg one a little bit more. But you do have to be careful and make sure that you can stay warm while you're there and getting out. Alright, well. No hammer. So that's great. Yeah, yeah. That's definitely a good thing. But it's really good for your cabin fever at the same time to use the Forlorn Muskeg one. Because that's another reason, is I know after I've been there for like over a day to forge, I'm like, I don't have to worry about that for a while. Well, that's unfortunate. So I'm probably gonna end up going through Ravine and getting to Coastal. I think that's gonna be my next move. Because I don't want to go to PV. Oh, I don't want to summit without a bow. I always feel like there's gonna be something behind those. It'd be nice to get some birch too. I can get that from Ravine. Especially because I've got the double frostbite. It's nice to have as a backup. I've checked most, well, I haven't checked the trailers outside. You're too afraid of falling. Oh. Like off the bridge. And I guess you do have to go over the train cars and stuff too. The hitboxes are definitely bigger than it makes you think they are. I think Dunn has tested that. Like, you can definitely fall off of it, but it is bigger than you think it is. Alright, Avatar, thank you for being here. Hope you have a good night. Yeah. Let me turn this off and see what I can drop. Am I just no, I am very heavy. That one has, I like the condition. Oops. No. I like the condition of the other one better. I don't need the guns, or the frontier shooting. I don't need either spray paint, really. Yeah, that would suck. I haven't fallen off of it yet myself. Knock on wood. Where's the wood? I got wood behind me. I got one birch that I'll probably just keep carrying. I have a lot of cloth. I don't really need that much cloth on me. I'd rather drop this stuff in the trailers though, I think. Drink. Yeah. Maybe I make a run for the trailer. I'm gonna double check out here too, cause I haven't actually checked out here in a while, because I never saw anything. But if they change something like in the update, you know, where there's some, like a hammer hidden out here, that'd be nice. But alas, there's no hammer. I think that was tools over there, but I saw Honky Boy over there, but he's not a problem. Wish I could get him though. Coffee! Love coffee. Good life. Ooh, do tell. Oh yeah. Nice! Do you make a list before you start packing? I usually do. Just so that I can make a list and then remember things that I forgot on the list and then be able to add them to the list. And that way if I need things, I have more time to remember about them. Yeah. It matches, nice. Crunchy stuff. Yeah. How long are you staying there again? Like a couple weeks. Peaches. Okay, I'll make my little pile over here of stuff that I'm leaving, because there's no way I'm bringing all this with me. Oh, nice. Yeah, and then that way you have space to free up when you come back.
I think I need to lie down.
Yeah, I always try and do it that way so that I like have stuff that I'm leaving when I leave and then have more space on my suitcase. Yeah, exactly. You kind of trade off stuff. Although I had to have my family mail me 2 giant boxes of stuff that I accumulated when I was in Florida because I had, you know, told them like, hey, I have to fly back and I only have 1 suitcase because I'm bringing a dog in a giant crate, so I'm not bringing 2 suitcases. So I'd appreciate it if you mailed it to me. And then of course I got a bunch of presents at Christmas because you know, my family's like, oh, we wanted you to have stuff to open, and I'm like, I get that, but now I have to mail it. Yeah, which was fine. It turned out fine in the end. It was nice because I didn't have to handle that extra weight. I could just have my sister mail it to me. 2-week stay, nice. That'll be fun. I'm gonna list this important stuff for future me to know it's here. I don't want to carry the weight but I need it in the future. Okay, no problem. Like quality tools, I'm not going to carry those with me, but they'll be here for the future. Probably going to leave the archery book and focus on the cooking. Yeah. Need 4 accelerants. I can get by with 2 because I don't use it very often. Well, and then also if I have the accelerant, I don't need the gunpowder. So I'll leave that for future me. And I have more of a weight capacity. I love the 2-pot system, but weight. Right now I can't. I don't have the weight. Once I get my any kind of an upgrade on weight capacity, I'll be able to bring it. I want to keep the metal because as soon as I forge, I don't want to deal with having to get metal. I want to have it ready. Go ahead and craft these. I'm gonna drop this 1 rose hip because I found a single rose hip somewhere and I don't need it, so that's there for decoration. And then I guess drop you here. Okay, getting better. I'm probably gonna have to sleep through the night though. Keep those with me. I don't think I need that many bandages. I'll keep 4 though for sprains and stuff. Mini base. All that stuff's important. These I will drop future leather, but the only thing I'm not wearing is these 2, and those are easy cloth, but I don't need them at the moment. Okay, I think that's good because once I'm rested, I'll only be 2 over. I am gonna sleep here though because I don't think I'll be warm in Ravine in the whatchamacallit. Focus me this hungry. In the caves, I don't think I'll be warm enough overnight, but at the same time it's evening and this is the good travel time, so I think I can actually get through to the trailer. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go. It's not gonna get cold for a while. It's gonna stay warm. I need to start getting hides. Like deer hides. I usually have collected a lot by now, but this run I've been doing it a little bit differently. But I need to start collecting deer hides so I can craft the pants as soon as possible and the boots. Mostly the pants though. So I'll grab the ravine ones since they're nice and convenient usually. Oh, and the train car. I forgot about that. That's where I found the hammer on my first Loper run. So if I find it, then I'll just like stay here to get the hides off of. Usually there's 2 deer carcasses, so I'll get the hides, get some birch, and then go back. That'd be great if I didn't have to go too far from Mystery Lake. Then I can just go right back through and get the FM forge. And by the time I do that, all my stuff will be cured. need to add a hydrate command because I always forget while I'm streaming to drink. Alright, moment of truth. Do we have a hammer? I mean, a jerry can would be nice too, but... no hammer. Just jerry can. Drop. You're too heavy. I don't need the rope, but I'll note that it's here. First of all... Damn trailer. Birch, please. 2 whetstone, 2 sewing kit, cloth, books, and a lot of tools. Those are the big ticket items. Find any birch bark? I have to resist the temptation to pick up sticks. But I already have a lot. I think my goal is going to be the Coastal Highway trailer at the top of the map, and that's where I'll get a save and get off for the night. Steer hide. I don't think... No, I have a tool. I just can't get it with my hands, so it's going to take an hour. So at that point, I might as well get the meat off of it. But then that's gonna take longer and it might get colder, and so I don't know. I want to get them curing though. But it's gonna take an hour to get the hide. I want to take advantage of the weather more than I want the hide. No, I don't. 'Cause that's long term. The hide's long term.
I'm too tired to think so.
Yeah, that's a good amount of meat too. ahead and get this. Oh, stupid, I used the birch. Is it gonna burn it? I don't wanna burn it, but... No! Darn it! Stupid! It's fine. I mean... I got the hide. Apparently 30 minutes is what it takes to burn deer. Venison.
Oh, it's getting dark out here. Time to look for shelter.
I think since it's a ravine and it's safe, and I know where I am, and it's a very straight shot, but I want to get the other deer hide. I was gonna say I'm gonna chance sleeping, but I want to get the other deer hide while it's still warm enough. Well, in that case, get the rest of the meat off of here. Yep. I am going to grab the deer hide from this other deer, which hopefully was a deer and not a corpse. And then get to the coastal trailer, and that's gonna be my save point for tonight. Oh my gosh, so much birch. It's beautiful. Deer cave has one hide, 3 birch. I'm on the hunt for a hammer because I haven't found any hammers. Yeah, it is a deer. Nice. Ew, that's a lot of feathers from this guy. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's gonna do it.
Come on, little fire. Come on. Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Oh no, not the coal! Oh man, that was a bad mistake. I thought it was sticks. Man, I am messing up a lot tonight. Let's get 1 kilo. Not make the same mistake. Welcome back. We burned some deer meat, and now we are messing up with the coal. It's fine. Nice. Yummy, yummy. Yeah. Just real quick. Well, in that case, I'm gonna go ahead and get the guts. Wait, can I reach you? Yeah, put you on. Guts. Now I have a 4-hour fire. I just grab a bunch of torches. 2 hours is manageable. Oh gosh, so I've never actually done this before. It is kind of fun. Just keep piling them up, make this giant blaze. Alright, where's the edge? Here. Yeah. Walk over the coals. Oh, another deer. Wow, 3. Oh, there could be 3 on this map. A crow feather. Yes. Like how she's floating. Floating. Yeah. Tacos, yay! Oh, that would look cool on the runway, yeah.
Come on, little fire.
No divorce tonight for cryo. Just eat that one. I'll cut the water, I'll just be really slow. Hide. There's no time on that fire. Yeah. Eating good today, Astrid. I am being very mean to her. She could have eaten before now, but just trying to be stingy with my supplies. Pretty sure this is the way to the other cave, right? Eh. Did that say 18? 15? Oh, jeez. I will likely sleep in this cave for however long is warm. Just to give me a little bit more boost to get to the other cave. Pretty sure I am carrying. Maybe not. Maybe I didn't grab the other 0.5 piece of meat. That's okay. Oh, Ravine, you're so good to me. Gift that keeps on giving. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Bunny cave. Hide. Too good. That's too curious. I guess since I have a lot of wood, I'll use that. Sleep for a couple hours. Actually, the longer I can sleep out here, the better, because then cabin fever risk is gonna be low.
Come on, little fire. Perfect.
For as long as I can. Oh, Timmy. See, is he feeling better today? Alright, I think I'm about ready to go. I'm not fully slept, but that's okay. Oh, we're actually warm. Okay, well, in that case, actually, I think I hit the wrong button. How long have I been muted? I have a hotkey on my... I might have hit it when I was switching screens. Um, but that's where I was going to end it for tonight. So I'm just looking for somebody to raid. Thomasina, Perfect Trip, Slid Homes. Trip is doing something called a Fallout Challenge. That might be kind of fun. It looks like he's doing different bunkers and stuff. Oh, okay, yeah, I probably hit it when I went to switch screens then. Sorry about that. But thank you guys for being here. We'll go raid Perfect Trip. And I hope everybody has a good night. And I will see you guys in different streams, I'm sure. Tuna, enjoy your tacos. Since you finally got your tacos. Yeah, and have fun packing and whatnot for your trip. And I will see you guys later. Trip stream up because I like to have streams I'm raiding into up. Oh dear, there's an ad break. That's okay. Alright, bye!